What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are doing another client testimonial. One of our clients who asked to remain anonymous lost 82 pounds inside of our coaching program. I will go ahead and put his transformation photos down below so you can see exactly what that looked like for yourselves. This was a massive change, and not just that, he now has more energy to fulfill his duties in ministry. And a super cool win is that he started dating someone while inside of the program, and they are now going to get engaged, all because their conversation started about tracking macros and weight loss recipes. I don't want to share all of the details. I will let him do that. But before we get into it, two quick things for you guys. The first one is that if you are interested in learning more about how the Physique Lab coaching program works, I have a video explaining that in excruciating detail. So I'll go ahead and put that thumbnail down below so you know what to look for on my page. I'll also link it as a time card up there and put it in the video description box below. So either click that link or click the link down below. And the second thing is that I will also put a link to my calendar down below in the video description as well. So if after watching this video, you are convinced the Physique Lab can help you reach your weight loss goals and you are interested in chatting directly with me or one of our amazing assistant coaches on how we would help you reach your goals, that is going to be the way to do it. But without further ado, let's get into the testimonial and hear all that this client has to say about his results. All right. How are you doing today, man?
I'm great, brother. How are you?
Doing well. So let's start with this. Where were you before you started the program? And then tell everyone where you are at now.
Sure. So, I think I was in a place where I had kind of given up on the whole losing weight thing. Ever since I got closer to God, I kind of let go of my fitness. I felt like it wasn't as important anymore for me personally. And, in the past, it was driven by the wrong ideas, intentions, or, priorities in my life. But obviously, I got to a point where I noticed like this is actually affecting my health now, and I should do something about it. I tried a few different things, keto and intermittent fasting. I was always opposed to the idea of counting calories, quote unquote. And
Mm,
I remember I saw one of your ads, um, and some of your Instagram posts. And I thought, well, this guy is a believer like I am. Let me reach out to him, see what he has to say. And we got on that first call, and after he started talking for a little while, we kind of went over what I had been doing and had not been working. And I remember stopping you and saying, "Well, I just want you to know that I'll never count calories. That's like the one thing that I'll never do."
mm,
And you kind of challenged me on it and said, like, why do you say that?" And I told you I don't think it's sustainable for me. I'm sure it's gonna work, but I don't think I'm gonna like it. I'm gonna do it a little bit and then I'm gonna stop. And yeah, I mean, I told you I was gonna pray about it, and I got confirmation like 10 minutes later through my mom who told me that same day that she had been praying for me to have like a coach or something,
mm.
and she didn't know I was talking to you at all. So um that was about a year ago, I think,
Yeah.
maybe over a little over a year ago.
Yep.
And fast forward to now, I've lost 85 pounds, and I love tracking macros, and it has been sustainable. And I've been showing it to people around me too. They might not be as radical as I am with it,
Mm,
but I think obviously it's have a great impact in my life, my health. I share with you that last time I went to the doctor, there were concerns about some markers when it came to sugar levels and cholesterol and triglycerides and all those things that usually happen when you're overweight. And a few months after, like way before I lost 85 pounds, just a few months after I started your program, everything came back green. So I'm playing soccer again, not competitively like I always dream, but every other week at least. And my body is performing as well as it performed, I want to say 20 years ago.
mm.
It's just a different experience of just life, to be honest.
Yeah, I remember you posting in the Slack channel. It was something to the effect of the first time you played soccer again, and you thought that your body wasn't going to move like that because it's the first time you've done it in like a decade. So those were a lot of wins there. Down 85 pounds. All of your health biomarkers are in a good place. Quality of life upgrades. I guess out of all these things, what would you say is like the biggest result that we've achieved together? Is it one of those things, or is it something else entirely?
I think a complete mind transformation or for a long time I think food had become the goal of, things to do. And nothing wrong with having like a good meal here and there that you enjoy. I'm not saying I don't have that anymore, but I started to see food as fuel for my body. And through tracking macros, I was able to actually appreciate like, oh, what I'm putting into my body, how like the protein affects all these processes inside my body, and I can still have carbs and fats and all these things that are important. Um, but I just food became something different for me, and things like holidays where you have to overeat because you just have to. I still eat more than normal, but I'm just mindful about it. Like I understand, like, oh, I could eat like 4,000 calories in one day without knowing it. Now maybe I'll keep it down to 3,000 calories, and that'll make a difference at the end of the week. But also understanding that what uh what you continually do what you continually put into your body is going to have a long-term effect, and kind of just changing the mindset of what food is and what it isn't. So I think that has been a great change in my life, and I believe from that I was able to get all these results.
Yeah. So it sounds like the nutritional freedom is what we call it, where you're able to enjoy things in moderation, but then switching that mindset into seeing food as fuel and treating it as such, as opposed to maybe a guilty pleasure or something that you turn to during times of stress or whatever it might be. So all of the results that you've described so far are amazing. So congratulations. And I know, yeah, it's been about a year, maybe a little bit over. If we rewind all the way to that point, like, do you remember what it was that made you want to sign up in the first place?
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I felt like I had tried everything. I know a few years before I had success losing weight by cutting carbs all week and just having them on the weekend. And it worked great for me back then. And it was like you do this cleanse for 2 weeks, and then you start eating like this, 2 cheat days, 5 clean days. So I tried doing that a few times again, no results. And then, like I said, I tried other things, no results. So I really felt like I was at a dead end. Nothing I did seemed to work. I just kept gaining weight. And I don't know if we'll talk about this later, but at my worst, I was like 290. So I was going to be 300, I'm sure. Um, so I felt I actually needed someone who knew about this stuff to say something and try it. And if that didn't work, then I guess I would just be overweight for the rest of my life,
Yeah. Well, good thing
But
you
I'm
found
glad
our
that was
program then.
exactly, yes.
Yeah, I was looking at the data prior to hopping on this call. So I think when you started, the first weigh-in was 288.9. And
Yeah.
then correct me if I'm wrong, but the lowest one was 207. Maybe you've had one. I think that was a couple weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken. I
I
know there's
think
been
I
some
went,
travel involved, stuff like that.
I think I might have gone down to 205 one time, but
Okay.
yeah, but 207 sounds right. And my goal was 210, so that
Yep.
was great that I
So
even went below that. Yeah.
yeah, got under that, and then
During,
you're able to
during
maintain that.
Thanksgiving, by the way. During
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Yep. Unlike the Thanksgiving incident the prior year, that was
Yeah, that
something
was
where
the first Thanksgiving in the program that one didn't go as well.
yeah, man. So now that we're 1 year into it, I guess what would you say the experience of working with me has been like?
Has been great. A lot of not to speak bad about anyone, everybody's in their own journey and life, and I understand that. But for me personally, um, as you know, I'm a believer in Christ, and I uh, I like to surround myself with other believers because we do see life in a different way, right? And we
Mhm,
wish that everybody does, but the people that I allow closest to me to kind of influence my life, like I allowed you into my life,
mhm,
I like to know that you're coming from the same place that I am. because in my experience, a lot of the drive behind fitness mostly is to get girls, to get this, to get that. And that was my drive before coming to Christ. And that's why I kind of let go of fitness completely, because I felt like, okay, well, I don't need that anymore. So I guess I'm good.
Mm.
So being surrounded by you and other believers through the chat that we had, the calls, that was a great experience for me, because I was able to approach these from a place of peace. I was
Mm.
able to listen to you as a brother in Christ, and trust in your judgment, trust in what God was telling you to do with me and the other guys in the group. It just felt like home. Like our church is our home. This felt like an extension of that, and I think that helped me believe more in the program, and just allow myself to be steward by you. And I think obviously it yielded great results.
Yeah, I always say that you can think of it almost like a small group from church, but now you also have the fitness and nutrition expertise and functionality built into it. You're always going to get the help that you need, not just physically, but spiritually as well. Would you say that's a fair assessment of the program?
100%.
Cool. And
100%.
then since you've gone through it, would you say that there's like a particular, I guess, favorite style of coaching or favorite part of the program, something like that?
I think access is great. When I first started with you, I would text you, and you would respond the same day. And I think a lot of programs that you join, you maybe get the main guy the first time you talk, and then that's kind of the last time you see them almost.
Mhm.
And then you get other people. Not to say that obviously as the program grows, you will have other people involved in it, but I think uh, you having this call with me right now, it's no different than the weekly calls that you're always on. And then you
Mhm.
have the team also that's available for us, looking at our weekly progress, and our nutrition and all those things. So I just think it does feel very, very personalized. I felt like I always had access to you and the other guys, and I would get answers in real time almost. And I think for people, everybody has their own expectation or way of working, but um, as a program manager, I like to get things done really fast. So,
Mhm.
so I felt like that was important for me to have that level of connection and access to you, and I always did. So I really appreciated that. It didn't
Yeah.
feel like one of a thousand. It felt like we've had a
Mhm.
relationship this whole time, and I think we continue to do so, and I think
Yep.
that's a great style.
Yeah, so as he was saying there, that's something where over time we've definitely grown and we've increased our coaching staff. But of course, I do my best efforts to make sure that I am involved in all of our clients' lives and it isn't just a number or a dollar sign or something like that. So I'm happy to hear that that's the way that you felt inside of the program. Another question I wanted to ask you too is like, what is something that you feel you've learned from the program that you think someone else on the outside could benefit from? Just because oftentimes, like, you don't really know what you don't know. And now that you've gone through it, obviously you know a lot more, you've made these types of changes. So what would you say to someone who is on that outside that doesn't really know like what to expect inside of the program, or like something that would be their golden ticket that's actually going to allow them to lose the weight they want to lose?
Yeah, so obviously consistency is key, right? And that's something that you ingrain in our minds as soon as we start this program. But I think there's a lot of misinformation out there about, oh, it's okay that you're overweight, and there's nothing you can do about it. Um, I think you have a system here that works. If you do it, it works. And most people who are extremely surprised and amazed about my change, I tell them, yeah, you can do it too. Like there's so much about, well, I have this condition or this, and that's why I can't lose weight. And I tell them, I promise you, if you follow these few steps, you will. It's impossible for it not to happen, right? So I think um, you do a really good job at walking us through all of these stages of the first call is super cool, because first you listen to us, right? And this is what I'm doing right now. This is what I want. You create that big whiteboard experience there with all this stuff.
Yep.
And then you kind of start breaking down what you think would work for us. And I think then you apply it, and the fitness plan comes into this too. It's not just nutrition, but I mean, my body is completely different too. Like, I've gained muscle and all that stuff, and it's great. So So I think it's a very complete approach, I would say. You have the nutrition, you have the fitness, you have the spiritual, and you have the coaching, which really, for someone like me, knowing that you're gonna see what I ate and that you're gonna see my workouts, that really drove me to do those things, right? Because then you would hold me accountable, right? And
Yep.
it's not that you're mean about it or anything, but I respect you, and I felt like, oh man, I have to do this, even if I don't feel like it. A lot of times I didn't feel like it. Sometimes it was 11 p.m. when I would get done with my day, and I would start working out then because I had to do it for that day. And obviously, it yielded incredible results. So I think it's a combination of everything you're doing. I think I'm sure there's a lot of programs out there that have some of the components that you have, but for me, you kind of do the whole approach, and that was key for me. I don't know if that
Yep.
answers it.
Yeah, so it sounded like there are a couple of things in there. One of them is honoring the commitments that you make to yourself, which that's number one. You have to do that. But where most people go wrong is that they do that outside of accountability, and it's very easy to fall off of those commitments and not honor them if there is no accountability because you're the one that knows that you didn't go to the gym. It's not like there's a coach that you have to report to. Same thing when it comes to nutrition. It's easy to snack a little extra or eat some more on the weekends when nobody's looking over your shoulder. So it sounds like that made a big impact. But what I would also say is I agree, there's obviously other fitness coaching programs out there. But what I would say is this is that no program is going to have a 100% success rate. And the reason you saw the results that you did is because you were ultra consistent with the roadmap. Like it's clear our systems do work, but if you don't follow them, you're not going to get the results. So part of it is honoring the commitments and following through on that and continuing to be consistent with that. And 1 year later, the reason we're on this call is because you've had that consistency.
Agreed.
Yep. And then last question for you here before we part ways. Like it's similar to the last one, but I guess let's say maybe someone came across my Instagram page, they saw an ad, maybe they found me on YouTube, came across social media somehow. Maybe they learned a little bit about the program and they're interested, but they're a little bit on the fence about joining the Physique Lab. What kind of words would you have for that type of person?
Yeah, well, I would say I was in the same place at first. I did get extreme confirmation from God to join, so that made it easier for me. Um, but based on my results and the results of everybody else in the program, like it works. If you're serious about wanting to, get in shape and lose weight and have more fitness or gain muscle weight, actually, like some of the guys joined this for as well. Um, do it. Like you won't regret it. It's compared to the change that it's had in my life, it was a small investment. Like I don't know how many years I've added to my life, and I don't know how much I've saved on medical bills for my future.
Hmm.
Um, you
Probably a
know,
lot.
yeah, exactly, thousand. So I'm healthier. I look younger according to people, and I feel I have so much energy now. It's just a different life. If you're in a place where you feel like you want more out of life and you feel like your body is not what it used to be, I'm telling you, I look younger than I am, but I feel 20 years younger.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a great commitment to get into, and it's a great investment for your life, your future, and your health.
Yep. Any other last words for anybody who might be watching this in the future?
Um, don't give up on your journey, just keep pushing. You can get there as well, and it's worth it.
Amen. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you taking some time out of your day to share all about your experience inside of the Physique Lab. Let's keep getting you some amazing results, brother.
Sounds good. God bless you, brother. Thank you so much.
There you have it, guys. I hope you enjoyed hearing all about his time inside of the Physique Lab coaching program. I don't have much else prepared for you today, but before we part ways, I do want to give you two quick reminders. The first one is that down in the video description, there is going to be a link to a video that breaks down the Physique Lab coaching program in excruciating detail and tells you everything you could possibly want to know about how things work and how we're able to get guys like him such amazing results. The second reminder is that down in the video description, there will also be a link to my calendar. So if you're interested in chatting one-on-one directly with me or someone from my team to learn about how you can get started inside of the Physique Lab coaching program, that is going to be the best way to do it. But that's going to be it for today's video, guys. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe and turn those notification bells on so you don't miss when I post new videos. And with that, I'll see you in the next video.